Hello, Flosstube. This is Kathy. I think I'm long overdue for an update. So it's been about 19 days since I recorded, so I've got lots to show everybody. So pull up a chair, grab a beverage, grab a snack, and let's chat and catch up. First of all, I want to thank everyone that has watched and subscribed to my videos. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Anyone that's new, I hope you enjoy this. I welcome feedback all the time, good and bad. If there's something that I need to improve and fix, let me know. So, what has been going on in my life? So, it's been 19 days since I've recorded, and I've had a weekend of visitors. Last week was a normal weekend. I did try to record, but I didn't like any of the videos I recorded. So I deleted most of them. And Oliver decided that he inserted himself as a co-host, and I was getting annoyed. By then it was like take 5, so that video might be recorded but never uploaded because it's kind of cute. Now the interesting thing is, since I've been recording, and Oliver knows this and Jack knows this, I haven't shared it with anybody else. He's actually started recording stuff. So he's been taking our phones and making little recordings. It's kind of cute. So in terms of that, it's like I'm glad that he's exploring his. Letting him encourage his creative side. Now, keep in mind when he's recording, we do supervise it. So yes, he is using a cell phone. Me and my husband, he's a very good child in the sense that we do let him play with expensive toys, and he hasn't broken anything. He has somehow managed to crack one of the tablet screens. I'm not sure how he managed to do that, but he just did that recently. So overall, not too bad. So let's get to the stitching. So my plans for Maynia, went out the window. So the summary of Stitch Maynia as it is, because I am basically stating that as of yesterday was my last start for Maynia. Maynia is done for me now. These are all going to be work in progress. So I managed, as of the end of yesterday, started 7 projects and finished 1. Now before the end of the month, if I'm good, fingers crossed, I will have 3 finishes for my 7 starts. So, what have I been working on since the last time I talked? There's been a lot. I let myself go and actually start. So the plan for today is I'm going to show you what I've been working on, and then what I'm prepping for the next couple months, because I'm starting to purchase material and prep stuff and kit stuff and get all ready. And there's even a oh my god, what am I getting myself into moment, but that's pretty much it. And then we'll talk about my knitting. We'll start off with my knitting, which should be really short, and then go into what I've been reading. So the knitting. So this is where I've got to in my Shawl of Destiny by Amber O'Brien. Basically, each of the color sections is what I've worked on. So the first section down here is before vacation, the lace section is during vacation, and this other garter stick section is what I had when I had my friends come in. 30-second updates. The yarn is from, I believe it's Unyarned Wine Company and Loopy Used Solids. So I'm loving it. I'm kind of wishing I had a little more of the green, but that's okay. I'm enjoying the knitting, and with 2 test strips coming up, I should work on that. I should be able to work on that quite a bit, or at least work on a pair of socks. I typically for work travel have 1 to 2 test trips a year. Sometimes, day trips don't count. These are overnight test trips. The only difference is for this next test trip, usually when I'm out of town, my mom is in town, and my mom's not traveling, so my husband has lots of support. Like, basically, he really just has to make sure Oliver is dressed, and ready to go. My mom pretty much takes care of the rest. He picks him up from school, makes him dinner, and then Jack just goes to my mom's house and eats dinner, and then they come home and they sleep, and they repeat the next day. This time, there's going to be like 2 days when Jack is going to be on his own, and Oliver has school, so I'm okay with it. I'm not worried. He's going to be fine. He, meaning Jack, is going to be fine. Um, so that's that. Because usually what happens if I'm out, then my mom's always there to back up. So we haven't really left my husband alone to watch Oliver. Not because we don't trust him, just because we haven't. No, disclaimer: my husband fine. I mean, I do go scrapbooking, so he does have to watch Oliver by himself. So this is just the first time we've both not been available to back him up. So he'll be on his own, which he's actually liking it because he can basically tell the guys at work, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't get in late. I got to drop my kid. Oh, I can't stay that late because I can't stay late because I got to go pick up my son. Kathy's out of town, that sort of thing." So he's liking it and not liking it. So I know he'll be fine. I'm not worried. I think my mom might be more worried than I am. I know they'll be fine. So that is that. And the other next exciting thing that's happening next week, and I just scheduled it, is I'm getting my replacement windows. So my kitchen windows are going to be updated, and then some of our other windows are also going to be updated. So that's a good thing. It's been on the list for 7 years. We've lived in this house for 7 to 8 years ish. So that's it. All right. Let's get on with what I've been working on. So the plan is I'm going to go through my new starts, and then any carryover whips that I've been working on since, before Maynia. Before Maynia whips. And we're not going to go through any acquisitions because, well, I'll be showing you an acquisitions, but it'll all be in the prep anyway. So, with my fabric malfunction that I had, I think I'm pretty much sure that I decided to start a same project. So this is Lizzie Kate's part of their 3 Little Words series, Never Give Up. So this is where I am. I'm almost done. I'm in the endings phases. So my thought is that I should be able to finish this. Probably finish this after this is recorded and after dinner. Because once I'm done recording, I'm definitely making dinner because I'm hungry. So this is definitely a potential finish before the end of the month. What I'm going to do with it, I don't know. But I did like the pattern. It was really quick. It's my first Lizzie Kate. It was awesome. Granted, I signed up for their Spooked mystery stitch along, which I think starts coming up next month, without finishing this. But this was fun. I mean, actually like a lot of their stuff. It's, especially this series, it's fun, and I have a couple other patterns that I would like to do too. So I see a lot of stitchiness in my future. Maybe one of my other crafts might get less priority. Well, right now scrapbooking is floundering, but I kind of want to pick that back up too, at least to capture the stories. I mean, the intention is to get the pictures printed onto a page and write the story that goes with it. Because I mean, it's the little stories that manage me. And I'm babbling. We'll talk about that afterwards. So the other thing that I started the Lizzie Kate on 5/4, and then 5/11 I started the Frosted Pumpkin Citrus Tea Time, and this is where I got to. This was the weekend I had friends come over, and I had a lot of time to work on this. And I also worked on, while they were here, I also had a lot of time to work on my pumpkin passport, which I'll show you in a little bit. So that was that. So with the fabric malfunction, I placed an order with everything cross stitch to get the aid I needed for my TIE Fighter. And I went with everything cross stitches because I could kit up Country Cottage Needleworks pie menu at the same time. Okay. So the fabric from my order from everything cross stitch came in probably like May 7th, 16th, or 17th, I think. And so I restarted my Dinosaur stitches, I believe. I'm going to list all the patterns and who they're by, with the link to where about them, because I have a lot of digital patterns. Or I'll put a list of all the patterns down below in the comment box. So this is my finish. I'll cover this up. So this is my TIE Fighter with, and then whoops, and this is my R2D2 and 3PO minder for minding my minders. So this is my one FO right now. So Lizzie Kate should be number 2, and then what I'm covering up we'll talk about later. So that was that. And then 519, yes, I gave myself permission to start since it was Maynia and it was crazy and there's lots of starts. So I fell in love with Country Cottage's pie menu. So this is what the pattern looks like. This is meant to be a this is going to be meant to be a gift. So what I ended up doing on this, instead of starting in the center like I typically do on a pattern, which I think on my centering is normal, is I actually started from the bottom. I pinpoint my starting point on this as well as on the pattern, and I'm going to stitch it from the bottom up. The cool thing about this is I've never actually worked on a piece that had so much variegated. And normally I get bored and I just start, I go across. I just do, 5, 6, 7 stitches and then I come back across. I don't try not to do it too far so I can get the variegation. But for this one, I actually did the every full cross, every stitch. And I'm loving the variegation. I think you can definitely see it. Hold on, let's see. You can definitely see it on the strawberries and you can see it on the leaves. Not so much the bottom of the frame. So that is what I started last week. And this week we have 3 starts. So on the 23rd, I started my Tardis blue box. So here's where I got to, and this one I actually am stitching it from the top and going down. Again, not from the middle. And then on the 25th, I started my Princess Grace in Haute Couture gown by Teresa Gill. Here we are at, let's see. So basically, this again, I marked my bottom, counted up sufficiently, and then started the pattern. So that is where I'm at with that one. So my plan with that one was to do a very HAED-like thing and do a box at a time, but yeah. We're just doing a color, and I've been switching around doing different colors. And then, like Obsessed Stitcher, I should probably go get that. I forgot to. We're back. All right, I'm back. So for the Princess Grace, I think I was watching, believe it's Obsessed Stitcher, and she was talking about how she organizes her floss for her big projects. So I took her idea and kind of used what I had in my stitch. So I had this Becky Higgins 6x8 scrapbook binder in it, and what I've done is on the first page I've put the pattern. So this is the Princess Grace, and then for each of the colors I have a 3x4 card with the post-it notes on my post-it notes with the color, and then 2 skeins of each one. So I don't know, I bought it and I don't know if that's enough. This was my plan for what I was going to do with the HAEDs, except I'm going to probably put my HAED in a 12x12. Well, actually, I've bobbinated some, and then I don't know what I'm going to do. But I think I might do this since I have a bunch of Project Life pocket pages that I typically haven't used yet, so I might actually do something similar with the HAED, because the HAED is basically going to be my... All the other projects I don't mind taking, well, the Princess Grace and the HAED, I believe, are going to be stay at home, not going to go anywhere. Now, but if I go to my mother-in-law's, I'll probably take it with me. If I go visit my friends in Chicago, they're not going with me because it's just too big to take with, especially the HAED. Oh, we'll get to that. So, that is how that is stored. And then, on the 26th, which is yesterday, the day before, I started the Rebel X-Wing, which is down here. Yep, that's the start of the Rebel X-Wing. So that's 7 starts. What I've also been working on is my pumpkin passport. And as you can see, I've got most of Switzerland done. I just got to finish up 11 so he can make his appearance. And Katie, the Sash Queen, has been inspiring me to Hoovenize, so I'm doing the light version. I'm picking and choosing. So 11 is in there right now. 10 will show up. He probably will be riding the donkey. I don't think I'll change it into the horse just because I'm not modification other than color changes. Not quite. Adding something is fine. I might still add some flags in, possibly. Not sure about that one. So that's, been working on that, and then I've also worked on my Country Cottages Sleighworks. I worked on this on Tuesday, which was the Stitches in, what is it called? Notes. Stitches in Red, Sal, which is, you work on, which is one day a month where you pick a specific color, and it was red. I probably did maybe 10 stitches because that was just a crazy day and I didn't get much stitching done. And then I have a tiny bit of progress on Satsuma Street's Pretty Little London. Chances are what's going to end up doing is I'm hoping I can finish this before I really focus on my Princess Grace. It all depends on what pattern is singing to me at the time. So those are my whips. So project prep. So I've been starting to prep for my summer crafting. When I say summer crafting, it's because I have my knitting. I actually bought enough yarn for 2 of the Kristen Kapoor's 2016 mystery shawl. I did one in a lace weight and then one in, bought it both from Blue Moon Fibers. I don't think I'm going to get the yarn in time to start on the first like everybody else, which is totally okay because I have the Shawl of Destiny that I want to work on. So we're okay with that. And then I also bought another kit from Miss Bab. So I think when the Blue Moon Fibers comes in, and I will probably do a haul video, a yarn haul video, something slightly different. So that's pretty much it. So then this is where I'm like, last night I had a, what did I get myself into? Now, with the Maynia, there was no, Kathy, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? It's like, oh, I'm starting stuff. Cool, yeah, let's buy. Prep. Let's do this. Because you want to do this. Now, wasn't until I started watching Flosstube that I even heard of Heaven and Earth Designs. I mean, it was pretty much Country Cottage Needleworks, Lizzie Kate, and Satsuma Street, and Frosted Pumpkin. That was it in terms of what I'm stitching. So what did I do yesterday? Yesterday, I started gritting my first HAED. And I've been buying floss for the last couple weeks. 89 colors. 89 colors. So that is what I went to Faraday. Where's my Faraday? Faraday's probably down below here, but you just can't see him. He might make an appearance. Okay, ready? Let's see. Oopsie daisy. Oops. Shorts and kitty claws. So here is my Faraday. And of course, you only see his back. And his tail. Because I don't think he really wants to make an appearance. So we have a Faraday tail, my little co-host. Yes, his tail is supposed to go on normal. He has a really long tail. And it goes up in a delicate thing. And then there's like a tiny little speck of white in there as well. Which is really weird. I love my cat. He's really long. Anyway, to digress. So when this came, so I actually managed to find a piece of 14 count Ada and was able to use a 40% off discount coupon. I've got to do something to keep the worries about the fraying. But you see how big this is? This is like 30 inches by 36. So it's like a 1 yard piece of fabric. And my gridding is slightly different. It's basically, I'm just stitching in my guides. Let me see if I can do this. So basically what I'm stitching in, just the way I'm gridding, so that I can account for my start, is I'm just doing 10 stitches in the little lines. So it's not going to go further down, it's just, well, it's going to go all the way around. So it's going to go around the perimeter of my fabric. So this is why I said this is going to be a staying at home, it's not going anywhere project, because this is just going to be too huge. So I actually got the large kit, which is why I've already figured out the one pattern that I bought that's a super size. Not going to do. I'm gonna wait for another sale when they have the pattern 60% off, and I'll probably buy the regular size version of the other pattern because I do want to knit that as well. So the ones I bought are ones that I truly want to knit. Or knit. Why do I keep saying knit? Stitch, 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 stitch. It's not knitting. Anyway, so that's the fabric, and this is 80. I don't have all 89 colors. I think I'm missing 2 or 3. So this is probably like 85, 86 colors of floss. There are some duplicates in here. Oh my god, what am I getting myself into? So as I'm working on this, I'm probably going to be commenting about the whole HAED. So it might be its own little segment about how far I'm at and all that stuff. So we're gonna try to follow the instructions and doing 10 by 10 at each time, and I'm probably gonna do longer strands. And my method of parking, what I usually end up doing is if I know it's gonna move somewhere else, but I don't know because I've been stitching a lot more Joblin and it's a little harder to count the data, is I'll do a full cross, basically about 3/4 of it, and leave one in string, and I'll work on another color. Once it comes in, I'll complete that cross and move the string down to the next one so that I can not have to cut if it's fairly close. That's my version of parking. I'll take a picture. I don't know if it's called parking, but it's, you know, as I said, it's Kathy's version of parking. So, more to come on that. That I'm thinking I would probably start maybe this weekend, but it's not part of Maynia. It's its own little thing because I want to start it. That's all. Alright. So, and then I've also started thinking about my summer stitch along for the month. I think it's July's is a Summer Sparkler by Summer Sparkler by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. So it's supposed to be my July. And then I'll have my other whoops for during the Olympics. There's not gonna be, I mean, the only new starts I'm planning on doing the new starts that I'm planning on doing would be the Spooked by Lizzie Kate that's coming up that starts next month, the TIE Fighters, and then obviously my Pumpkin Passport and my Santa's Village. I don't think I'm going to be starting anything new, and then in September, my plan is since there is a Harry Potter stitch along all month, I bought a pattern online, it's Hogwarts Castle. It's in different colors. I would say it's very Satsuma Street inspired. It's, different colors. So I want to do that in hand-dyed flosses, so I get the variegation. So to add that extra dimension to pattern. So I just have to figure out what I think I'm going to end up doing is I'm probably just going to take the picture of the pattern, take the material list, take it to the cross stitch store, my local needle shop, buy the fabric, buy the hand-dyed flosses, to piece it together of what is going which, so that I can swap it out to be my first conversion piece. So there'll be my thoughts on that, and I'll try to document my journey on that. Because I feel like I'm putting by doing the Flosstube and having these other video suggestions, I'm putting myself out there. And this is just to document what I've been doing in my craft and just put myself out there because I do like to craft. I need to put my other creative side. And so that's why I'm putting it out there. What am I hoping to ends up happening? I'm not an expert by any means, but I'm hoping that if I make an error or how I do something helps somebody else in a tip, then I'm doing good. Like with my scrapbooking, is once I pick it up, I do want to get on some design teams. I think that would be fun. It would also get me playing with stuff. I don't need to be paid for it. I would love to have my scrapbooking work published one of these days. So that's scrapbooking process videos are probably coming up later on. I have to get over this. So figure with the knitting and the cross stitch, it's the baby steps, right? All right. So that's the end of the cross stitching and other stuff. So now we're moving on to my reading. What have I been reading? What I've been listening to? So what I finished. Actually, I finished these 3 books in the last 19 days. So what I read, The Girl from Summer Hill by Jude Deveraux, and that's clearly stated by the author. I love Jude Deveraux, and if I'm butchering her name, I apologize. I love your books. I'm sorry, Jude. I also follow her on Facebook, which is very interesting. I follow several authors on Facebook, and Jude is very interesting. So she goes. So in order to get her, she lives in New York City, and I think every year she goes on a world cruise. So she travels the world, and that's where she gets her inspiration. And she writes a lot, and that's funny. And then also when she's in New York, I love hearing stories about her real life, and it seems like they're authors. So you think, okay, all they do is they sit, every day they write, and then they have normal lives. Well, with Jude, you actually get to see inside her life or what she chooses to share on Facebook, and it's quite interesting. Anyway, back to the book. The book is basically definitely themed like Pride and Prejudice, with all the characters and all that stuff. It is clearly stated in the description that this is, it's her interpretation of a modern version of Pride and Prejudice, complete with a Mr. Darcy, who is, not bad to look at least from the description. In my imagination, he's not bad to look at. And we have our Elizabeth Bennet as well. So, all in all, it was a great book. I enjoyed the read, but I enjoyed the story. But I always enjoy her stories. I mean, I've read many of her books, and I started reading those. Those were the first books that I used to read while I was in high school. So I've enjoyed her books for many years, and I will continue to enjoy reading. So I think I stopped reading her books, and I picked them back up recently. So, which is good. And I think when I was in high school, I read more of the historical, but now I'm reading some of her more modern ones, contemporary ones, and those are just as good. I mean, the thing is, the story transcends, right? As you're reading the story, you're in that time period, that sort of thing. So I love that. And the other book, when I stitch a lot, I like listening to books too. It's a little bit better than watching TV. If you're listening, you can just keep stitching. So I also finished listening to Starfish Moon by Donna Kaufmann. It's the 3rd book in her Brides of Blueberry Cove series, which I actually love. I mean, between Jude Deveraux and Donna Kaufmann, they're just happy romance novels. Happy, just the steamy scenes are just enough that, they're happy. They're happy. They're PG-13 type romance novels. Maybe not quite PG-13, but in terms of the range of romance, I'm gonna call it PG-13, and we're gonna call it PG-13. Just call it that. You don't need to have a disclaimer up at the bottom about the adult content or anything. It's PG. I call it PG-13. My rating system, it's all subjective. Any book is subjective, right? It's you interpret it how you want. What is appropriate for you to read, what is not. I don't know who's watching this, so we're going to keep it very PG-13. And then the other book that I read was Royal Wedding by Bella Grant. Now, that one definitely needs to have, that is definitely an NC-17 R. No, you know what? I call this R. This is my R rating. In terms of, it's definitely a darker romance. It's kind of got a Taming of the Shrew kind of theme to it. It's darker, and the thing is, I actually enjoyed it. It's a different take on this type of romance. Normally, I don't normally see it in this sense, because there was a little bit of this in what was that novel? Oh shoot, there was a series. I can't remember. It was by Lauren Hawkeye. It's definitely darker, but I mean, this was just a fun interpretation. I mean, this is Taming of the Shrew with a modern, slightly darker twist. It was actually interesting, and this definitely has, the disclaimer. This is why it's called my R ratings. It's R rated in my terms of book ratings. I'm reading my books now. I'm putting ratings on my books. Anyway, so I enjoyed it, and I bought the book. I read it in one day. The good thing about Facebook, I'm following a bunch of different authors on Facebooks, and I mean, especially with the newer, I'm gonna call them less established, because between the Nora Roberts, Catherine Coulter, Jude Deveraux, I consider them established authors, right? They have books on the new. That I have read their books for many, many years, right? And then some of these I'm through Facebook, and I guess my preferences and what I like, you get suggestions, right? They're so I'm getting introduced to these new authors, and so it's actually refreshing that it's like I'm posting something, and I'm interacting with the authors that I love reading with, which is awesome, because it's very refreshing, and it's nice. I mean, and the thing with Bella was like I wrote like I bought bought the book, read it in one day, loved the story, and she responded back, it's like, you made my day. And I'm like, yay! I made someone happy. I gave someone a speck of happiness, or a drop of happiness, which is awesome, because there's so much negativity in the world that it's nice that you can make someone's day by just doing something as simple as saying that you enjoyed their work. I mean, it's the little gratitudes, right? Um, and that's awesome. I mean, it's by me enjoying their book and that made their day, that I'm happy. I love the fact that they appreciate, just like, with I'm segueing in, because I'm gonna try to end this, right? End this video, because it's about my normal time. I try to keep my videos under 30 minutes, or about 30 minutes. So I'm going to rant a little bit, and I apologize. I'm going to try to keep this. Anyway, because I think I have to get this off my chest, because it's bugging me. Anyway, so I really appreciate anyone that, when I see likes on my video, or anyone commenting. I appreciate it. Even if it's a thumbs down, I'm okay with that, because at least I'm getting feedback, right? I'm just not talking. I'm talking to myself, right? Talking to the camera, which I'm talking to you guys. So I actually really like the interaction between in Facebook and in Instagram, when you can interact with people you see on TV, or people that you see. You're interacting with people that you look up to, or I'm like, with some of these, I literally can't wait. I pre-order their books. I can't wait for their books to come out, and I start reading them, or I pace myself, because I know a trip coming when I have time to read. If not, I'm gonna be up till like 2 a.m. reading a book. So this is a rant, and I apologize if it sounds ranty. So obviously, that's not it. Anyway, so I work for an automotive supplier. And so I was mentioning Facebook. I'm very selective on which coworkers I am Facebook friends with. And so I'm friends with family, and I'm friends with coworkers. So in terms of so most of the things that I have on my Facebook and my Instagram, whatever I put on there, you can show it to your grandmother, or you can show it to your mom. I have what I put on there. There's nothing embarrassing that I would not want my mom to see. And my mom is a conservative Chinese woman. Let's just put it that way. So for me, I'm very what I put on there is my life. It's snapshots of my life that I choose to share, just like on this Flosstube video. It's what I choose to share. And so the last couple weeks, the last week and a half, I've been annoyed by a couple people. And it's just getting back to me, so now I'm very cognitive, very cautious of what I put on Facebook because of who can see it. And it's stupid and petty and that sort of thing. So from a work perspective, I had one of my coworkers turn in her resignation. And before, I mean, I don't interact with her that much. And since I'm on the customer side, it's limited to what political, I'm not in the office environment, so I don't see all the political stuff that goes on. And when I do, so my boss is very good at minimizing my exposure to that political bullshit. Oops, sorry. Political nonsense. I mean, I still know it, and I'm still very conscious of what I write, how I write, and making sure that it's not taken in the wrong way and that sort of thing. So I'm very conscious of what I say in email to people, and I think I tried to stay very, and I also at this time it takes me a while to warm up to coworkers. Now, keep in mind, I do have now. I love my coworkers that I interact with every day on a daily basis. Do they know me? Hell yes. It's like, I think I posed it this way in a meeting today, or like we're like sibling. It's like it's a family. So when I am at CTC, I refer to my home office as the family, right? It's a sibling relationship. You love them some days, you hate them some days. At the end of the day, I don't stay mad. So I'm gonna stop this rant. I apologize if it's getting long. I just have to get this off my chest because I feel I with my Flosstube I feel very safe and I feel like I can vent. I had two coworkers left this week. One I saw lots of potential for, but between her being guarded and me not opening up a lot, she was in the impression that I didn't really like her, but I saw lots of potential in her. And I was always defending her. So in that sense, she was crying, and it was like, don't cry because you're gonna make me cry. I was at this for her. It was very sad that she left, but I'm also not surprised that she left because my company, the politics can get a little crazy. And the workload, I mean, they demand a lot from you. And my boss has a very high expectation. And can be intimidating until you prove yourself to him, and then until you prove yourself to him and he gets to know you, it gets a little bit better. So with the coworker one, I was actually not surprised that she left, but I also was surprised that she didn't know me, and she didn't, she doesn't really know me, and she was surprised that I was so positive about her, because I was talking to one of my other coworkers, the one of the few coworkers that I'm very comfortable gossiping about, because I know it's not going to go anywhere. And if it does, it's not a big deal. I mean, she knows me. I don't get mad. I'm very patient, that sort of thing. So when this other coworker left very abruptly, now granted, the coworker 2 I consider a very experienced coworker. Now, in my group, I'm usually the optimistic one. With her, she makes me look pessimistic, which is very hard to do. But she left, and I liked her. I liked working with her, and when she needed something, I always tried to help, and she was very helpful as well. What I don't appreciate, and if this comes out, she'll know who I'm talking about. So I'm sorry, but these are my feelings. I still like you. The thing is, she left, and it's fine. If you just had enough at your job and you've decided I'm done, then leave. You should leave with grace and dignity. There's no need for you to bash someone. there's no need for you to, you are not 20, you're not, it just doesn't make any sense. So what, because when I saw, literally I found out on Facebook before I got the official email. Or I got enough of it from that standpoint. I expected, for this coworker, I expected more from her. I expected her to have dignity, to take the high road. There's no need for what she did. It annoys me that she would do that to somebody. Anyway, so to me, it's like if you had enough at your job and you decided you're done, I resign effective immediately, then be done with it. There's no need to, if you're already in a if you already work in a company in an office building that has lots of politics, that why are you adding to it? You're not going to be there anymore. So leave gracefully, with dignity. Take the high road. If you're upset with somebody, don't trash them as you're walking out the door. Because the other thing is, I mean, the automotive company, the automotive network in Metro Detroit is so small. You never know who knows who or how they're related. Because if you decide, I mean, the thing is, if you're bashing someone, it could come back to haunt you. Hello, karma. So I understand if you're leaving the automotive, that's totally fine. You never know when that person is going to cross your path again. So why are you doing this? And anyway, so there's basically, my stance is, no matter how much someone annoys you at work, you get over it. And if you're quitting because you've just had enough at work, don't bash someone, continue it constantly. There's no need for that. What are you going to accomplish? Nothing. There's nothing that's going to be accomplished by this. So I'm sorry if I was ranty at the end. It's just, it annoys me that someone that, it's just annoying me with some of the things that have been happening, especially with my coworker too, we'll call it, in the sense that I felt, why did you have to do that? I expected more of you. I expected better of you, and I still like you, and I still will miss you. You're just annoying me, and I'm done. So when I'm done, I mean, my 20 minutes of being mad at you are done, and I'm good again. Anyway, so this has gone a little bit longer, so I apologize, but thanks for sticking with me for this long one, and again, I appreciate everyone I appreciate people watching, and I appreciate people subscribing until my next video, which I'm kind of liking every 10, 20 days, or 10 days. It's kind of gives me enough time to have something to show, and hopefully next time I'll have started my HAED and have my thoughts and that sort of thing. So until next time, thanks. I hope everyone has plenty of crafting time, whatever your craft of choice may be. Hope you de-stress. Hope you enjoy the great weather. And I don't know what has happened, but summer is here. We went from 40-degree weather to 80-degree weather in the span of 2 weeks. I don't know how that happened, but it's here. So enjoy the outside. Enjoy the outside. Enjoy the long weekend if you're in the United States. And I will talk to you guys next time. Thanks.